Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I will discuss with you and I will take few minutes or 3 to 4 minutes of this your time, because today is the Dr. Shabnam session. She will describe and she will teach you, or she has an interactive session with basic statistics used in quality control. So yesterday lecture, participants have some queries, so that's why I will discuss these queries first very shortly. Yesterday, participant discussed about the flow process. What is quality control? Quality control basically involves like this. You looking in this slide. Start from the prescribing of the test ordering by physician, and in the pre-analytical steps, and then analytical steps in the lab. Start from the collection, transportation, each and every steps you need the quality control, and then storage and analytical steps, and after then post analytical steps like quality control, interferences, pathological cutoff at the time of interpretation is the flow process of quality control, basically to give the satisfy to your customer, to give the reliable results after interpretation. If you will one question, TAT, turn around time, if you will if you will finalize the report and not issue timely in timely manner, so it also break your quality, or because if you will not inform properly and timely to physician or patient, so how a physician will give the treatment to patient. It is also a part of quality control. And what is the difference between quality control and quality assurance? Quality control focused on product, कि किस प्रोडक्ट का आपने क्वालिटी कंट्रोल करना है, लेकिन क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस क्या है? क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस फोकस करता है ऑन प्रोसेस, कि किस प्रोसेस के थ्रू क्वालिटी मेंटेन की गई है. क्वालिटी कंट्रोल नेक्स्ट इज रिएक्टिव. आप प्रोडक्ट आने के बाद एक्टिव होते हैं, यानी कि उस पर काम करते हैं. और जबकि क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस यानी कि प्रोएक्टिव मेजर्स होते हैं, कि जब आपके पास ये सैंपल आएगा उससे पहले आपने क्या क्या मेजर्स लेने हैं, तो उसकी एश्योरेंस, उसके डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपके पास हैं. दिस इज द क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस एंड द लाइन फंक्शंस, एंड दिस क्वालिटी कंट्रोल, लाइन फंक्शंस, एंड quality assurance staff function which are involved at any level. And the find defects, ये क्वालिटी कंट्रोल से क्या होता है कि आपने डिफेक्ट फाइंड कर लिया कि क्वालिटी जो है आपकी कहाँ जो है डिस्टर्ब हो रही है एट द टाइम, एट द स्टेप ऑफ collection, because control is not only the mean you are using in the lab, multi-sera or recast or external. This is not only a control. Quality control means throughout all the process involved in the quality control. So finds the defects, and then through quality control you find the defect, but through quality assurance you prevent the defects. ये problems next time ना हो आपके पास. You have to prevent the defects and you have to take the measures. And then next of this, testing. Quality control is a testing, but quality assurance is quality audit. You have to do the audit कि आपने जो testing की है ये according to standards है. This is type of an audit. Okay. The next question regarding the checklist. What is the checklist? Checklist is just like an inspector checklist, which is always inspector of quality manager or in the quality management department. And these are yesterday I discussed the content of the checklist. One question, 5W and 2H tool. 5W 2H tool means what is the problem? 5W, why, what, when, where, who, what is the problem, why is it a problem, highlight the pain, and where do we observe the problem, location, products. and who is impacted, customers, business, functions, and when did we first observe the problem, and 2x, how did we observe the problem symptoms, and how often do we observe the problems, how many defects do we observe, magnitude or and trend. And material safety data sheet, what is a query yesterday generated, what is the difference between material the safety data sheet and working sheet. Material safety data sheet, like you used in routinely in lab chemicals, reagent, because safety is a, if you will learn, this is a whole lecture which taken by Rifat Shaheen, Muna Javed, and Dr. Mubarak in their session, because majority of the formalin, xylene using in histo department and acetic acid. So that's why exposure of these chemicals or every chemical. So every chemicals which are you using in your lab. So you have a material safety data sheet, but this material safety data sheet provided by the manufacturer, but you score yourself, because at the rate of exposure, how much exposed this chemical. So you have to calculate your risk score, what is the risk assessment of this product which are using in your lab. This is material safety data sheet which was documented by manufacturer which make the product. And this is the whole session which will discuss how to score the risk in the session of Dr. Rifat Shaheen. An example of worksheet which we construct for ease of the process. Like this is specimen dispatch log sheet. Specimen dispatch log sheet, which was in collection unit, date, time, patient name, patient ID, test order, problems, initial. We constructed ourselves. But material safety data sheet is which provided by manufacturer. And thank you. Maybe all participants satisfied by their queries raised yesterday. So now session is started by Dr. Shabnam Khwaja, and she will discuss live or hands-on exercises of basic statistics used in quality control. Thank you.
नाउ मैं सेशन जो है वो हैंड ओवर कर रहा हूँ डॉक्टर शबनम दिलदार को. ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर शबनम.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arshi, and Assalamu alaikum, and good morning to all of you. Today I will discuss the basic statistics of quality control, and I'm Dr. Shabnam Dildar. I'm working as a consultant chemical pathologist at National Institute of Blood Disease and Bone Marrow, Karachi. I have no conflict of interest. At the end of presentation, the participants will able to understand the concepts of the mean, median, mode, and their calculation, standard deviation and coefficient of variation, SDI, standard deviation index, and CVR, coefficient of variation ratio concepts and their calculations. First of all, I will like to discuss upon the concepts of the standards and the control, because we will discuss about the control on multiple times. Basically, standards are the substance that at exact value or known value. The standards have fixed value, and when we weight or measure them, they produce a solution of exact concentration, while the controls have the same constitute as being the patient, but it don't have the fixed or exact value. It controls have range. For example, the control of hemoglobin have range of 10 to 14, but the standard of hemoglobin, it has a fixed value of 10 hp. And controls are used on daily basis and analyze on each badge, every badge, or daily, whereas the standards are not. We do calibration with the help of standards or calibrator. Standards are also called the calibrator, and we don't perform the calibration on daily basis, but the controls we run daily, or we run on every badge or every shift. And controls are, there are different type of control. For example, acid, non-acid. Acid controls are those whose ranges are given by the manufacturer, and unacid control are those whose the values are not given by the manufacturer, and we have to develop our own ranges. So and unacid controls are cheap, whereas the acid control are expensive. So today we will we will develop the range of unacid control, and we will develop our own age, and I will show you that how can we develop our own reference range of control. First of all, I will discuss about the mean. The mean is basically the average of all values, and the mean is the best estimate of true value or accurate value or target value. If you want to develop the true target value of your own laboratory, so you have to develop the mean by using the multiple values of levels of control for your own laboratory. So for the calculation of mean, we have to find the sum of data, and then we divide by the number of the data. This is the formula we use for the calculation of mean. This is the summation as it indicate, and whereas the xn is the each value in the data set, and the n is the number of values in the data set. So by using this formula, we can calculate the mean. For example, this is the laboratory A, and there are the two level of control. Level 1 is the normal control, and level 2 is the abnormal control. And level 1, it is unacid chemistry control with the lot number of 1 2 3 4 5. We have already discussed the unacid control are those control whose ranges are not given by the manufacturer. So we have to develop our own range. So we will run that control on multiple times. At least we have to run 20 times to develop our own range. So here is the example. We run the level 1 control, and these are the values. These are the values of creatinine kinase: 94, 93, 97, 95. These are the values, and these are the values of level 2. It's abnormal control, and we run it for about 10 times. These are the 10 values. Now we have to calculate the mean. I will request you all, please calculate the mean of this creatinine kinase level 1 and level 2. Take your pens, or take your mobiles, use your calculator, and then write it on chat box, or you can tell me on your mic. खोल दे सबका mic. वीडियो खोल दें ताकि वो आंसर पे करेगा ना मुझे। ये चैट में कोई कुछ लिख रहा है। हाँ यूं सही है, इसको छोटा कर दो। चलिए छोड़ दी चैट बॉक्स को, यहाँ पे आ रहा है ना।
ठीक है, शुरू।
So the answer is the mean of the level 1 of the creatinine kinase is 97.2 and the mean for the level 2 is 318.2. Now we will discuss the median. The median is the middle number in the set of data when the data is arranged in the numerical order. For example, this is the data. First, you have to arrange the data in the numerical order. So these are the number 12, 15, 11, 11, 7, 13. So first step, we will arrange them in the numerical order. After arranging into the numerical order, we will find the number in the middle or the average of two number in the middle. So these are the two number, 11 and 12 are the two number in the middle. So we will take the average of these two number. So the average of these two number is 11.5. So the median will be 11.5. Mode, the mode is the number that occur most frequently. For example, this is the data, and the most frequent number is 11. So the mode will be 11. Now we will discuss the standard deviation. Basically, standard deviation is the dispersion of values around the mean. And standard deviation is the statistic term which shows how close your values, your quality control value in relation to with each other, and it is a best estimate of the consistency of the specific concentration. But standard deviation is typically increases with the concentration of an elite. And we calculate the standard deviation by using the formula. This is the formula for standard deviation. uh, this is the S is indicating the standard deviation, and this is the summation, and the square root, and this is the number of the values, sum of the square difference between the individual QC and value, and the mean, and this is the number of values in the data set. Now we will discuss the steps for the calculation of standard deviation. There are the 7 basic steps which we need to do for the calculation of standard deviation. First of all, we have to calculate the mean of the data set. So you already know how to calculate the mean. So these are our 10 values. These, for example, it's the level 1 control of level 1 control of the calcium. And we will take the mean of these 10 values. For example, the mean is, for example, the mean is 10. Then we will subtract the mean from each data set value and list the difference. So if the 10 is our mean, then we will subtract the each value. We will subtract the mean value 10 from the 10, and every value we will subtract the mean. Then after subtracting, we will get get the square of each value difference from the previous step and make the list of square. And then we add the square from the previous steps together and square the difference. And then we divide the number of results minus 1. After doing the square of these differences, we will do the square root of this, and we got the zero point 0.6, and we got the square root of 0.6, we got the SG of 0.8. So this is our final standard deviation. Now we have calculated our mean. Our mean was 10. Our standard deviation was 0.8. Now I will tell you how can we establish our own laboratory control limits. First of all, first step is to develop our mean. Then second step is to develop our standard deviation. Then third step is to develop the 2SG range. For 2SG range, we have to multiply the standard deviation with the 2, and we will get the 2 standard deviation range. Now we have to develop the range because it's control, and we always use the range of the control. So the for the lower limit, we do we subtract this 2SG from the mean. This is our mean, 10 is our mean, and we will subtract this 2SG, and we will get the lower limit of our control range. And for upper limit, sorry, it's upper, it's error. This is the upper limit. For upper limit, we will add this 2 standard deviation with the mean. We will add 10 with this 2SD. So we will get the upper range, upper limit of the control. So our lower range is 8.4, and our upper range is upper limit is 11.6. So this is our control level 1 range, 2 SG range. Now we can use this range in our own laboratory with unassayed control. And the most of the laboratory adopt this 2 standard deviation range in their LJ chart or Levy-Jenny chart. Chat पे कोई लिखा है? Now we will discuss the CV. CV basically is the coefficient of variation, and this describes the measure of relative variability, and it calculated by the ratio of the standard deviation to the mean, and it usually expressed in the percentage. Basically, the coefficient of variation or CV allow and to make the easier comparison of overall precision. CV is the marker of your precision. It shows the how your precision is going, how your analyte is precise. The and we can calculate the CV by using this formula. Now I have showed this formula. We have divide the standard deviation with the mean and multiply by 100, and so we will get the CV value in percent. Now please take your calculators or mobiles or pens and calculate the CV from this control. The control of creatinine kinase have the following mean and standard deviation for its level 1 and level 2. The control level 1 have mean of 97.2 and SG of 2.7. Now please calculate the CV for this control level. And the control level 2 of creatinine kinase have a mean of 318.2 and standard deviation of 11.57. And please calculate the CV of this control level 2. I'm waiting. You can write in your chat box. Yes, the control one. See, answers are the right. I'm very happy that the answers, most of the answers are right. The CV of control level 1 is 2.8, and the CV of control level 2 is 3.6. Most of you are giving the correct answer. Now it's again a question. The potassium have a CV of 2.0 and the sodium have a CV of 1.4. So what you think, which analyte has better performance? You can write your answers in chat box. Yes, answers are right. Sodium has the better CV and performing better than the potassium. So the sodium is performing better because sodium coefficient of variation of sodium is 1.4. The remember the rule, CV is all lower CV is always better CV. So because the CV tells the precision of your control values, so more precise the lower the value. It means your CV is less than 1 or less than 2, it means that your control values are more precise. CV is basically the indicator of the precision of your control values. So lower is the better. So lower CV is always better. Now we will see the difference of the standard deviation and the coefficient of variation or CV, because these two terms are more often used in the laboratory. So basically some people think a standard deviation is a good marker than the CV, but standard deviation have certain limitation. Standard deviation typically increases as the concentration of analyte, and but the CV is not increases with the concentration. CV is a better tool for the precision, and CV can be regarded as the statistical equalizer. Smaller CV is always reproducible the results, and more values are and it show the more values are closer to your mean, and it can be used for comparing the two methods. If you have two same method or in your laboratories, you want to see the which method is better, so you just see one parameter, CV. With the help of CV, you just take the decision this analyzer or this method is good because the CV is lower and this is more precise, and CVs and the CVs also uh, precision is also due for the elimination of random errors. So you can see you can say that in this analyzer the random error is very minimum because it's more precise. So CV is the more accurate indicator for your precision, and ideally it should be less than 5%. Now again one more question, because I'm asking the more question of on the CV, because the CV is very important for hematology, for chemistry, for every field of the pathology. We should have the clear cut concept of the CV. So this is the creatinine concentration and standard deviation and the CV. And what you think, which standard deviation and CV of creatinine concentration is correct? Now you have the both indicator, you have the standard deviation and you have the CV in percentage. You can write in your chat box. the 0.3 milligram of the creatinine concentration with the standard deviation of 3.8 and with the CV of 2.0 is the correct answer, because when we have the standard deviation and the CV, so we have to decide the performance. So we will see the CV, because I have already discussed the CV is the better indicator or better tool to see the performance of your analyte. So we will see the CV and we will take the decision on the basis of the CV. So here, if you see the CV of the creatinine concentration on 0.5 milligram is 9%, on 0.1 milligram is 5%, and on 2.1 milligram it's 7%, while on 4 is 9.8, and 0.3 has 2%. So zero point 0.3 milligram of creatinine concentration have the lowest CV, which is 2. And if we see the standard deviation, the standard deviation 0.5 milligram have the lowest standard deviation, but we cannot take the decision on the basis of standard deviation, because its standard deviation is varies with the concentration of analyte. Standard deviation is depend on the concentration of analyte, while the CV is not depend on the concentration of analyte. CV is better tool as comparison with the standard deviation. So the CV of 2.0 and standard deviation of 3.8 is the correct answer. Now, what is an acceptable CV, or what is criteria that we should decide the what should be the acceptable CV? So there are the many sources which you can use to determine the expected level of your precision. Basically, the CV is the indicator of your precision. So you can use the your manufacturer, your product insert, or your instrument manual, your inter-laboratory comparison programs, or CLIA limits. CLIA is the Clinical Laboratory Institute of Amendments. You can use the CLIA limit. CLIA is regulatory body, and it has developed the CV and allowable error for near about for all analytes. And they have given the charts. It's available on internet, easily available on internet. And if you want to see the CV, what's the recommended CV, or what's the allowable CV, so you can just go and you can see the CLIA chart of CV. It's also available on Westgard site. You can see from there. You can see the CV from the proficiency survey, PT survey, external quality assurance survey, and you can evaluate the instrument and methods published in the professional journals or societies and see the CVs there. So usually we are using the CLIA CV, but you can use, if you not find any analyte CV on CLIA limits, then you can use the proficiency surveys. You can do the inter-laboratory comparison program and then develop the CV. So once you have the your own you have the CLIA based CV, then you develop your own CV with the by the precision, or by developing your mean, and after calculation of SG you develop your CV, and then you have to compare your CV with the CLIA CV or with the inter laboratory CV, and your laboratory CV should be less than that CV. If your own CV is less than the that CLIA limit CV, it means your performance, your precision is acceptable. If your CV is not less than the CLIA CV or PT service CV, or not less than the manufacturer given CV, product insert given CV, that means your instrument performance or your analyte performance is not acceptable. This is the CV is the tool on which you can decide the acceptable performance of your analyte of your instrument. Now we will discuss the CVR. CVR is basically the coefficient of variation ratio. It's basically this tool is used for external quality assurance, and this is the comparison of laboratory precision with the another laboratory with the same test, same instrument, and using the same reagents. It may laboratory peer groups in external quality assurance, or in peer group. We our laboratory results are compared with the peer group. Peer group are the group of laboratories which performing the same test on same analyzer and using a same method with same reagents. For example, if my analyzer is Cobas 311, so my peer group will be using will based on Cobas. If my peer group of consists of 300 laboratories, so all these 300 laboratories will use same instrument of Cobas 311 with same method of albumin or creatinine kinase or any other test, calcium, with same reagents, and then they compare my performance with my peer group, and a ratio of 1 of CVR indicate that your precision is better than your peer group. So one your CVR ratio should be less than 1. So the formula for the coefficient of variation ratio calculation is within the laboratory CV and the peer group CV. Within laboratory means your own laboratory CV, which you develop by which you develop by using your external quality control. You can run your external quality control, and you can develop the mean, and then SD and CV, and that CV will be divided by the peer group CV, and you will see the ratio of your laboratory CVR of your laboratory, and it should be less than 1. It means if is it less than 1, it means your laboratory is performing better. And CVR is external quality control tool. You can see your performance, while only CVs is a tool used for the internal quality control, for the assessment of performance in the internal quality control. Now, another tool is standard deviation index, is also called the SDI. SDI is also the tool used for the assessment of external quality assurance for the to see the performance on and it is a peer-based estimate of reliability. It represents the deviation of your laboratory performance from the peer group, and this calculated by the lab result with subtract with the mean value of your peer group and SD of your peer group. And the target value SDI 0 is indicate the perfect comparison, but 0 is impossible because it's very impossible that there is no difference, because there is also difference with inter-laboratories. So the 1.25 or less than SGI of 1.25 or less than 1.25 is considered acceptable, while the SGI of 1.25 to 1.45 is considered acceptable to marginal performance, and it needs some investigation of your test system, while the SGI of 1.5 to 1.9 is considered as marginal performance, and it need to be vigilant and to do investigation of your analyte or of your system. And if your SDI is 2 or greater than 2, it means your performance on the external quality control or your performance in the PT survey, proficiency testing survey, your performance in the proficiency testing or survey is unacceptable. So more than 2 SDI is acceptable. So SDI limit from the less than 2 is acceptable. So the interpretation of SDI, if your SDI if your lab one result is exceed from two standard deviation index, that means there is an non-analytical error. Non-analytical error could be like your typing error, clerical error, sample constitutional error, and there may be systematic or random error. If the average of your SDI is more than 1.5, or if negative less than 1.5, then it means that there is a systematic error. There is a systematic error. And if the difference between of your largest SDI and the smallest SDI is more than 4, that means there is the evidence of random error. So on the basis of the SDI, just on the basis of SDI, you can see the performance of your laboratory and you can judge the type of analytical error, whether it's systematic error or whether it's random error. So possible suggestive action that may help to resolve the random errors are there may be the instrument malfunctions. There may be the common cause of the random error is the power fluctuations, temperature fluctuation, environment, and the incubation chambers, your reagent preparation problem, operator technique. One operator is using different technique, another operator is using different technique, or your control material is not properly made, or there may be error from non-analytical sources, like there is the error in the typing error. If you want to type 2.0 but you type 20, so it may be your random error. So you can decide the error on the basis of SDI, and you can take the corrective action on the basis of that. And there may be if there is a systematic error, there may be the lot of causes of the systematic error. There may be the change or failure in the light source. There may be a major instrument maintenance required. There may be the failing of the sampling system, or change in the temperature of your cooling chamber, or your reagent dispense system, or your reagent formulation problem, or you have not updated the reagent lot number, or your system may require the calibration, or your change in the instrument temperature, your lamp is deteriorating, or your filter is not working properly, it's deteriorating, your your qubits are not working properly, and they have scratches, so they scratches, and they may lead to the systematic error. And there may be the error in your calibration. So you can take your corrective action on the basis of these. So for corrective action, we need to perform the instrument maintenance, recalibrate the instrument, review the reagent sample and their storage, check the pipettes of your instrument, prepare the fresh reagents and rerun the sample. And we need to perform the staff training about the preparation calibration. After doing all these, you have calculated your laboratory on mean, on standard deviation, you have calculated your laboratory on coefficient of variation, you have calculated your laboratory on SDI, external QC, but you did not done the documentation. So it means if you have not done the documentation, that means you have not done it, because the documentation is the primary and the most important part of your laboratory. You need to document each and everything on of your laboratory. And if you have not document it and you are telling that you have done, you are telling on verbal basis, that means it's a rumor. And achieving a 99% of level of quality means the accepting a 1% of error rate. And 1% of error rate could be like the one plane crash. And it's all about my presentation. And if you have any queries, you can ask me. Thank you so much. देखें क्या है, chat box खोलें.
Dr. Archie, question
Dr. Archie,
question से.
please ask if somebody have any question, any query.
Dr. Shabnam, during your presentation, many of the chats we are receiving, so some of is corrections of the CLIA, and somebody is asking about, please repeat the standard deviation and how to calculate the mean. And another one is the next query was how to develop the peer group, how many samples required for the peer group CV.
Presentation. Thank you so much. I will give your answers. CLIA is basically a regulatory body. CLIA is the Clinical Laboratory Institute of Amendments. It has limits. It has defined the limits of allowable error CV. So you can. I was telling that if you want to see the CV of recommended CV, for example, what CV should be of an elite. So you can take the limits from the CLIA, and you need to develop your own CV and compare your CV with that CLIA limits. If your CV is less than the CLIA CV, that means your laboratory performance are acceptable. Standard deviation वाला था. Okay, standard deviation, we have discussed that the standard deviation is basically a dispersion of your values around the mean, and standard deviation is the estimate of your test consistency at a specific concentration. But standard deviation is is typically increases or decreases with your concentration. It varies with the concentration of NLE. So we calculate the standard deviation for, but standard deviation is not a best tool for the internal quality control assessment. CV is the most important tool for the internal quality control assessment. And I will discuss the steps for the calculation of standard deviation. There are the six steps for the calculation of standard deviation. First, you need to calculate your mean. First, you need to run your control level. If, for example, you are using the control level of 1, you have to run it on 20, at least 20 times. I have written here 10 because 20 will be very large, and I don't have space. That's why I have written here 10. So you need to run your control level at least 20 times. Then you have jot down the levels as I have written here. These are your control values. I have written the 10 values. For example, these are the values of calcium. I have run my control level, single control level 1 for 10 times. The one reading was 10, second was 9, third was 11, these 10 values. Then I have to take the mean of these 10. The mean of these 10 values was 10. You can calculate, you can use your calculators or mobiles, and you can calculate the mean is 10. Then I have to do the this is x is my mean, and xn is my these data set values. Data set values are xn. Then I will calculate my mean with these data set value. My mean is 10, and my this data set is 10. So I will subtract the my this data set value 10 with the mean. Answer will be 0. And now my data set value is 9, and I will subtract this 9 from 10. The answer will be -1. Now I will subtract this data value. Like this, I will do all my subtraction with the x. These are xn values, and x is the mean value. Mean value is 10, and xn are these values. After doing the subtraction, I have developed the answers. Now I have to do the square of these values. The square of 1, the square of 0, square of all these xn minus x. Xn means your data set, and x means your mean. After doing the square of all these values, I got the answer of 6. Now 6. Now by using this formula, I will divide this 6 by n minus 1. N is the number of data set. I have the 10 data set, 10 values. If you are using 20, your N will be 20. If you are using 30 values, your N will be 30 values. Here I have used the 10 values. So my N is 10. So according to the formula of standard deviation, I will minus the N minus 1. यहाँ से हट नहीं सकता, ये मुझे दिखाना है n minus. So I will use this n minus 1. So after my n is 10 and minus 1, I will get the 9. So 6 is my x minus x. Here is my 6, and n minus 1 is my 9. I will minus the 10 from the 1, 9. Now I will divide the 6 with 9. This is my 6, and n minus 1 is my 9. After dividing, I got 0.66. So this is my 0.66. Now I will take the square root of this 0.66. So this is after the square root, the answer is 0.88. So this is my standard deviation. You got it? If you have any query, you can even ask. I will tell you again.
Hello. Thank you so much, Dr. Shabnam. Very nice and wonderful presentation, and easily communicate in the slides. Majority of participant asking about the presentations and the exercises. So we are just waiting, because in coming week on Friday, we will introduce Google Classroom. My medical education department personnel or experts will give you the talk and how to use Google Classroom within 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Then we will share all material, lectures, presentations, exercises, because we need the assessments of your side. So that's why we are just waiting, so that we are not sharing. And another one is make the WhatsApp group. So after this Google Classroom, so no need of WhatsApp group, and you can directly see your progress and group assignments, lectures, everything will be in the Google Classroom. So just wait till the coming Friday, and the next week, in the starting of the presentation on Friday, just training, 10 or 15 minutes training for Google Classroom. Thank you so much for all.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Dr. Arshi. I want to say one thing to the participants, that I have circulated the questionnaire or assignment. So it's my request that with you all, that please fill that assignment and send back to us, that we will see the performance and we will see the area of lacking, कि आपको कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम आ रही है. आप ये ना सोचें कि आपको नहीं आता तो बहुत अच्छी बात है कि सिखाना आप सीख जाएंगे, लेकिन आप ये गूगल से इससे उससे पूछ के, और मेरी यही गुजारिश है कि आप लोग खुद बैठ के जो क्वेश्चनर आपको सर्कुलेट किया है ना, आप खुद बैठ के कर लें. उसमें आप सिर्फ अपना सिटी का नेम लिखें. यू नॉट नीड टू राइट योर नेम, योर सिर्फ आप अपने सिटी का लिख लें. अब आपकी सिटी से तो बहुत सारे, हमारे पास अबाउट 200 to 400 पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, तो आपकी सिटी हम नहीं वो कर सकते कि उसका नाम क्या है. तो मेरी आप सबसे यही रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप ज़रूर वो क्वेश्चनर फिल करें. उससे हम क्या करेंगे, हम आपके परफॉर्मेंस को असेस करेंगे कि हमारी जो है वो लैकिंग कहाँ पे है, एंड वी विल हम उस क्वेश्चनर को जितनी जल्दी आप भेजेंगे हम उसको असेस करेंगे, और उनकी बेस पे हम आपको जो है दोबारा जो है वो लेक्चर लेके और पढ़ाएंगे. मतलब वो ये नहीं कि आपके किसी को भी हम आपके जो है वो मार्क्स वो नहीं करेंगे कि ये कॉन्फिडेंशियल है. हमारा पर्पस सिर्फ यही है कि हम देखना चाहें कि हमारे लेवल क्या है, व्हाट्स आवर लेवल, तो हमें किस लेवल पे जाके और लेक्चर्स प्रिपेयर करके और चीज़ें हमें क्या पढ़ानी चाहिए. तो जस्ट सी योर लेवल ऑफ के आपका क्या लेवल है. तो इस वजह से जो है हमने ये क्वेश्चनर जो है प्रिपेयर किया है. अगर आपको मुश्किल लगे तो आप जस्ट उसको जो है ना कर दें कि नहीं, इस तरह से. और इसके बाद जब हमारे लेक्चर्स हो जाएंगे तो पोस्ट लेक्चर भी हम वो आपको जो है वो क्वेश्चनर सर्कुलेट करेंगे. तो उससे भी होगा कि हमने जो आपको पढ़ाया है तो वो हमारा आउटपुट आ जाएगा कि आपको कितना हमारे लेक्चर से फ़ायदा हुआ भी है, या हमने जो है ऐसे ही पढ़ाया है. तो वी जस्ट नीड टू evaluate ourselves, our performance, and we need to see your performance. It's a teamwork. Okay.
एक और जो मैसेज है जो मैं देना चाहूंगी कि देखें, वी आर ऑल इन लर्निंग फेज. हम भी प्रेजेंट ऑल पार्टिसिपेंट, अगर क्योंकि हम भी बहुत सारी चीजें जो है क्वेश्चन से सीख रहे होते हैं. कभी ऐसा होता है कि ड्यूरिंग प्रेजेंटेशन जो है हम बोलते कुछ है, समझ में कुछ और आती है. तो कभी ऐसा होता है कि हम जो है एज अ स्पीकर, एज अ प्रेजेंटर, एज अ पार्टिसिपेंट्स, वी आर जस्ट लाइक अ फैमिली. सो अगर जो है कोई क्वेरी है, जैसे मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि कल जो है प्रेजेंटेशन में या आज लोग इन्वॉल्व हो रहे कि अच्छा ये चीज समझ नहीं आ रही है, ये चीज आपने इस तरह से कही है कि इसको जो है करेक्ट. तो हम उसकी करेक्शन भी, हमारी कोशिश होगी कि हम नेक्स्ट प्रेजेंटेशन शुरू होने से पहले वो तमाम क्वेरीज रिजॉल्व कर दें. हमारी करेक्शंस होगी, हम अपनी करेक्शंस भी करेंगे, और जहां आपकी क्वेरीज होंगी वो क्वेरीज भी रिजॉल्व. तो इट्स जस्ट फैमिली एक्टिविटी. ये जो है एक ऐसी एक्टिविटी है जिसमें हमारे सीनियर्स, जूनियर्स सब इन्वॉल्व हैं. तो जो है लर्निंग का प्रोसेस तो कभी भी खत्म नहीं होता, कि जो हम सब आपस में सीख भी रहे हैं और सिखा भी रहे हैं. ठीक है, तो जो क्वेरी आए, और आई एम हैप्पी टू सी ऑल द take your queries, resolve your queries and answer your queries. Thank you so much.
चलिए मैं इनको बाय बाय कर दूं, एक दफ़ा मेरी वीडियो खोल दें. मैं इनको अल्लाह हाफिज़ कह के फिर मैं चली जाऊँ. थैंक यू सो मच. आई वांट टू जस्ट आस्क कि किसी को कोई और क्वेरी है. Okay, Allah Hafiz to everyone. Thank you so much.